What's up, guys? It's Alex. Today we're going to go over the daily trading plan. So I know we missed yesterday, but we're back. We're ready to roll today. Okay, so get ready. We've got 3 absolutely phenomenal trade setups here today. And if you know what you're doing, you can easily take advantage. Okay, so let's just say only one out of these 3 works. Well, it's going to be the one that we're monitoring during the day. So make sure you're monitoring all 3 of these during the day and then waiting to see which one actually gives you the circumstances you want, which I'm going to give you the circumstances that you want to see met before you jump into a trade here. Okay, so let's get into the first one, guys. BKNG releases earnings today. Now, guys, what's the first thing we know about earnings? Obviously, typically, it's supposed to be a positive catalyst. It's supposed to push you higher. Okay, so at this point, BKNG out of gas after continuing high 3 days, running up into earnings. All right, can't continue higher. What do we want to do? We want to short it today. Okay, so let's look at the chart here so we can actually give you a good idea of where you want to be entering in, right? It's easy to say short BKNG. If another YouTuber was doing that, they would say short BKNG, but how are they going to help you actually figure it out? Where do you want to enter? And that's exactly what I'm going to do, even though other people don't ever actually show you daily trades like this. And for that reason, you should be subscribed to the channel. But with that being said, look at this downtrending range here on BKNG. Every time we get to the top of the range, it drops. Okay, and look at where BKNG closed at yesterday, 1768. Where is it opening at right now? 1745. Now we still have an hour and a half left into the trading session, so obviously things could change. But now, say we open at 1745. Where does that put us? Just about under that moving average. So a lot of time we say short the bounce. Okay, so a bounce up to that moving average would be a very nice entry. Obviously, it can overshoot. There's a lot of scenarios, guys. You guys know there's an infinite amount of scenarios, things that can happen. That's why you gotta know what you're doing, right? So BKNG could drop 60 points, 50 points lower today, and you still might not make money if you don't know how to enter. Alright, so obviously I can be completely wrong on this, alright? But that's where you as a trader, you need to have your own mind, you need to have your own knowledge and your own, tools to understand if this is a trade you want to take. Does it actually line up with your strategy? Okay, but nonetheless, that's still my first trade, my favorite trade for the day. Possible short on BKNG. Obviously, it goes against me. Let's say I'm completely wrong. BKNG shoots up. I'll cut a loss, and that's about it, guys. All right, second, let's get into Square, guys. This is my second favorite trade for the day. Alright, so what you see is runs up 3 days into earnings. What happens actually now? They gap up after earnings by a little bit. Okay, but what do we see here? We see a failed breakout higher in the pre-market, right? Post that earnings, and then it comes back here to the open. Now, guys, you've been trading with us, you've been following along the channel. I hope you could draw the conclusion that this looks exactly like ADP, and what else? It looks exactly like FSLR. Okay, so let's show you what happened on these reactions. Look at this. Is that not exactly identical? Shoot up, failed breakout in the pre-market, back down here to the open, right? So it's still gapping up higher, but what happens? It retests that top level. That's your best short entry. Boom, back down. Okay, then let's show you what happened on ADP. Okay, same thing with ADP. Failed breakout higher, comes back down for the open, and then at the open shoots back up just a little bit past the high of the pre-market, back down. Okay, so with Square, my favorite entry here is possibly a bounce back up to this top level, and that's the plan for Square. Okay, so when you're looking at all 3 of these trades that I'm giving you, you want to keep them up, and if any of them meets the criteria we've went over, that's how you know it's a possible good entry, and that would be my favorite entry for Square, and might secure some before we even get up there, because it might just drop at the open, right? Like I said, there's infinite amount of scenarios, but you got to be ready, and you just got to act to the best of your abilities. You're never going to be perfect, but that's trading. That's the name of the game. Okay, so last trade I've got planned for today, Peloton. I love this trade too. It's a little tricky compared to the others, I would say, but nonetheless, if you understand your timing, reversals, and you understand how to read charts, this is going to be a great trade for you and myself as well. Okay, so Peloton, let's check this out. Obviously, everyone knows COVID beneficiary. What have all COVID beneficiaries been doing? Spotify, right? Shopify, Apple, Amazon, they all dropped after the earnings. They're good earnings, just like Peloton today. And what happens? They're dropping. Okay, so with Shopify, we noticed the best entry was puts at the open. Amazon puts at the open. Apple, I didn't trade Apple, but I remember it dropped. Puts at the open pretty much. So you see what I'm saying? So all the COVID beneficiaries do this. Wayfair is a bad example of a COVID beneficiary that didn't play out. Why? because it gapped up, came back down, and at this point it was just at the same level of where it left off the day before. Okay, obviously we actually got puts at the moment. You would have been making a little money, but it was a short-lived move. Okay, and with that being said, that's a bad example of something that didn't go the right way. But let's show you, right, why this one should go the right way, right? Wayfair didn't go the right way because it opened where it closed the day before. It wasn't any kind of gap up or gap down, really. It was just a continuation of where it left off. But Peloton, right, that's what we're on. Peloton today, guys, is gapping down significantly from 128 all the way down to 120. That's a big gap down on strong volume here. You'll see 180K pre-market volume before the day's even started. Again, that's a strong, real move to the downside. Institutions are selling their Peloton shares. Okay, and we want to take advantage of that. So, if you're a complete beginner, you don't know how to trade, and you're just, a dummy, pretty much taking a trade off of video, right? You don't have your own knowledge, your own way to enter things. Then the most safe entry you could possibly have here is a bounce up to 126, but you have to realize we might not bounce up to 126, right? Or 128. So then, this thing might just drop at the open. And that's where you gotta have your own mind. You gotta be able to do these things on your own, and I can't help you with that during the day. Alright, so the thing could easily drop at the open, but the primary strategy, no matter what, is shorting the bounces on Peloton today with a continued downward move. Okay, so what if Peloton ends here for the day? Well, that would coincide perfectly with the open for the day, so you would see there it's not really, moving anywhere, right? It'll close just where it started, but at the same time, just because it closes where it starts does not mean there's not money to be made, right? It could bounce up to here, you short from here to there, that's money to be made. You see what I'm saying? So all about entries, all about execution, and we have some videos on the channel if you need to see that. Alright, so guys, okay, so lastly at this point, I want to break down one more trade for you that I was highly anticipating going into this week, but I want to show you how I adapt, how I actually stay away from the trade that I was so looking forward to possibly. So this one is Trade Desk, TTD. Okay, so check this one out. Gaps up hugely in the pre-market, up on only 18K volume. So it seems like a very good short at this point because it's up on extremely low volume. But let me show you the factors that would make me not want to take it, right? I'd rather go with the other three setups, although there's some things to, like about this trade. But, what I noticed about TTD, where does it close yesterday? 647. So gaps up to 726. I'm not sure if this is an all-time high for the stock. Probably is. Okay, but basically, it shoots past the topping level, and we have to measure first, is it a very strong move or not? And as of now it seems like a weak move, but what I will say is look at Melly yesterday, right? Melly shot up after earnings and continued higher for the day. Okay, so Melly, well, no, that's not the pre-market volume today, but Melly is the exact same scenario, and this is where you got to have the chart skills to be able to identify things like this. So what happened to Melly? Ran up into earnings, shot past the topping level, and continued higher for the day. That's exactly identical to what we have here on this chart. It's going to shoot past that topping level and very likely to continue higher for the day. You see what I'm saying? So whereas right now, because the pre-market volume characteristics, it looks like a very good short based off of Melly yesterday, right? It's a very hard and to really say for sure there. And so when there's uncertainty, these are the trades that you don't want to be sizing up on, guys. It's all about knowing which trades to put your eggs in, right? That what do they call it? Putting your eggs in a basket. It's all about knowing which trades to put a little more eggs in, and then which trades to take, back on. And the ones you're less certain on, right? You want to go, possibly out of the money and really put a little bit of eggs, but those eggs can really pay off if you're correct. And you don't have to be correct, because if you're wrong, you lose a little bit of money, but you have a huge payout potential. All right, so that's something no one ever taught me, no one ever told me. I've never got that from anybody on YouTube. It's something I've learned from my trading. Okay, it's okay to go lose 1,000 on a trade that very well is a 50-50. It could easily shoot up higher or drop. And so on a trade like this, sometimes I'll put $1,000 here, right? And if I'm right off this 50-50 play, because I know it's got a big range and could possibly drop hugely, you make what, 1,000 and 7,000, right? 6,000, right? So you can easily make some credible trades like that if you're willing to lose a little bit of money. But I'm not advising this trade. I just wanted to give you my thought process on a trade like that, where I was highly anticipating it. It's a 50-50, it seems to me, and for that reason, I usually stay away from it. Okay, so that's why I stick to the top 3 for the day that are high quality, right? That I know have a very high probability to win. That's where I put a little more eggs into the basket. Okay, so guys, I'm Alex. I hope you found the video video useful. Friday options, guys. Trading on Fridays, we love this. This is our favorite day to trade. And if you got the skills, you'll pay the bills and plenty more by the end of the day. Okay, so guys, I'm Alex. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you drop a like if you haven't. Make sure you subscribe if you're not. Click the link below if you want to be on our weekly trading plan list. And guys, we'll see you on the next video. Have a great day.